Yo, what is up guys? Welcome to the Day 71 recap of the 2016-2017 NBA season. Championship contenders in the NBA today. Alright, you have the Cleveland Cavaliers, San Antonio Spurs, and the Golden State Warriors. Those are the three teams that most people believe have the highest chance of winning the NBA championship this year, and most likely for the next few years as well. And yesterday when I posted my video about Giannis Antetokounmpo and Jabari Parker possibly becoming one of the best NBA duos the NBA has ever seen, a lot of people in the comment section wanted to mention things like who's better between the Bucks and the Timberwolves, who has the brighter future, and also talking about the golden era of NBA that could be coming in the next 5 years. So I decided to talk about that, I decided to talk about this golden era that we could be seeing in the NBA. Now for this video, I'm just gonna make the far-fetched hypothetical that everything stays the same in the NBA today. What I mean by that is no major injuries, no major trades, and no major offseason signings that could affect the NBA in the next 5 years. Let's be honest here, the NBA is unpredictable when it comes to these things. You can't see into the crystal ball and see the future, because 5 years ago in 2012, who predicted the main rivalry to be between the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Golden State Warriors? Alright, who predicted Kevin Durant going to Golden State in free agency? Alright, there's so many things that can happen in the NBA, and you can never predict these things with 100% accuracy, but for this video, like I said, we're gonna pretend that none of that happens, alright? So exactly how many teams could compete for a championship in 2022, 5 years from now, 2022? Looking at the young talented teams in the NBA, the answer is, if they live up to their potential, a lot of them. I'm talking about you can have like 6 or 7 championship contenders. That's twice as many as there are today. Of course, you have the big ones with the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Milwaukee Bucks. Karl Anthony Towns, Andrew Wiggins, Zach LaVine. And then for the Bucks, of course, you have Giannis Antetokounmpo, Jabari Parker, prospects like Thon Maker could play huge roles, and even rookie Malcolm Brogdon could play a huge role. And then you're gonna have Chris Middleton as well. So there's the Timberwolves and the Bucks, the two teams people basically have locked to compete with each other for a championship in the next 5 years, which will be refreshing. I mean, when has it ever been the Timberwolves and the Bucks? So of course that would be refreshing. But then you have teams like the Lakers and the Philadelphia 76ers, for as bad as especially the Sixers are this year, when you have Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid and you're talking about them 5 years down the road, those are two players that could both be bona fide superstars, alright? Superstar players. Of course, they still have to figure out the rest of their roster. But when you have two superstars already, your 5-year forecast is looking pretty bright. I mean, it would take the Sacramento Kings management to mess this one up. And then of course you have the Lakers. You have Julius Randle, D'Angelo Russell. I know Brandon Ingram hasn't been having the best rookie season. He hasn't been having the best rookie season at all, but there's always late bloomers, guys that just take a little bit longer to get acclimated to the NBA game. So it's way too early to give up on him yet. His potential is still up there. We're talking about if teams reach their full potential, if Brandon Ingram can reach his full potential, if Julius Randle can reach his full potential, and if D'Angelo Russell can reach his full potential in 5 years, then you're talking about another team that will be up there competing for an NBA championship. And then you also have teams that people don't necessarily talk about as much. You have the Denver Nuggets, the Denver Nuggets, they have some really freaking good young players, Nikola Jokic has been having a phenomenal season. He's been having a phenomenal past couple of weeks, at least for the Denver Nuggets. And then you have Emmanuel Mudiay, who just needs to work on his consistency, and he's going to be a really good point guard for this team. Same with the Phoenix Suns, another young team that doesn't get much spotlight. If you have Devin Booker, Marquise Chris is going to be a good player, and of course TJ Warren is a good player. That's 3 players right there. Devin Booker has superstar potential. TJ Warren can be a solid 15 to 20 point player per game, and so can Marquise Chris. So they have a lot of potential down there in Phoenix as well. And then even teams that can't be considered championship contenders right now, but are still solid teams, or should be solid teams at least, could also still be in the picture 5 years down the road. You look at the Boston Celtics, they have the next 2 first-round picks of the Brooklyn Nets. So they have the Brooklyn Nets future. So those picks in 5 years could be solid players. Of course, they still have players like Jaylen Brown. Even in 5 years, Isaiah Thomas might not be as good as he is now, but he'll still be a thing, Isaiah Thomas will still be a good player in 5 years. And same can be said for Avery Bradley in 5 years, So they'll be like the veteran team. They could be like the San Antonio Spurs of the NBA. You know what I'm saying? They could be like a team like that, a good veteran team that's, you know, and they're mixing it up with these younger teams. The Detroit Pistons are another one. I might be a bit biased on this one, but the Pistons are another team that in 5 years will be a great team if they can keep this young core together. Andre Drummond will be in his prime. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope will be in his prime. Tobias Harris will be in his prime. Reggie Jackson will only be 30. Stanley Johnson, who I just think needs to get some playing time in order to improve, will have much more experience under his belt. This is another NBA team that could be a great team in 5 years down the road. And you still have like teams like the Pelicans. Buddy Hield has been coming into his own. Of course, Anthony Davis in 5 years will be up there with the best, will be considered one of the best NBA players of all time by then. All these teams that could be so freaking great in the next 5 years, that could be competing for a championship in the next 5 years. Now I know in the back of my mind that this isn't going to happen, alright? This is not going to happen. It's just the way things pan out. There will be injuries, alright? There will be key injuries to major players. There will be off-season signings. There will be trades. There will tons of things happen. Players just don't live up to the hype. Teams just don't live up to the hype. Something happens that will prevent some of these teams from reaching their full potential. That being said, the potential for the future of the NBA in terms of championship contenders, in terms of competitiveness, is so freaking bright. Right now we're living in the LeBron James era, and I love the era we're living in right now as well. I'm loving watching basketball. This season especially has been extremely entertaining to watch. But that being said, there's still only 3 teams that really have the possibility to win an NBA championship this year if all those teams can stay healthy. So in 5 years, if we can say, well, yeah, any one of these 6, 7, or 8 teams can win the championship this year, then that'll only make the NBA much more entertaining, especially when playoff time comes around. But that's just my best case scenario for the NBA in the next 5 years. Don't expect things to go this smoothly. From the teams I mentioned, teams could differentiate themselves from the pack. They could separate themselves from the pack and become so elite that the other teams can't be considered contenders. And that's not to say that some of the teams that are good teams now will just fall off. I mean, the San Antonio Spurs have never been a bad team, so you can still expect them to be in the mix, especially with Kawhi Leonard. So this video was just to look into the future of the NBA a little bit, just a little bit. It's a very inaccurate prediction. I mean, no one can predict this accurately. That's actually impossible to do, but I decided to, just have some fun. And that's because basically the games yesterday weren't that entertaining. Normally I do a daily recap on all the games that happened. Well, yesterday nothing really happened that was too exciting. I mean, Isaiah Thomas set a career high with 15 assists. The Pistons lost to the Pacers. The Lakers got a win, but it was nothing really that exciting. I actually drew inspiration from the Minnesota Timberwolves versus Philadelphia 76ers game. That's where I actually got inspiration. The Timberwolves lost to the Sixers, and I'm sure that's a game no one had circled on their calendar to watch. But in 5 years, that could be a thing, that could be like the next Christmas Day special. That's where I drew inspiration from this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Comment down below what you think about the NBA in the next 5 years, how you think the NBA could turn out in the next 5 years. And I hope you guys liked the video. Don't forget to leave a like on the video if you did, and subscribe if you haven't for more daily NBA videos. And until tomorrow, keep getting the buckets, Team SDC, and I'm out of here. Peace!